And I am live talking about movies once again. We talk about movies, and this is the end of this second season of mainstream movie reviews. And to celebrate, we do a tier list. But just before we get into that tier list, I must tell all of you this is the end of the summer. And we had a discussion a few weeks ago, or I should say around a month and a half ago. We had a discussion, Matt and I, and we were talking about we were speculating about box office numbers and how July was crowded when it came to movies. And just before we get into the big tier list, we will reflect back on July. That being said, let's go to the intro. So, the premise of that segment is again the discussion I had with Matt talking about our prediction we had for July. Because keep in mind, July we had three big budget movies coming out in like 4 week gap. And with that being said, um, I predicted that one of these three movies would flop. I predicted one of these three movies would have massive success, and I predicted that one of these three movies would underperform. I was almost right. Now, I must also admit, I'm surprised by the box office numbers we had with the three movies. And if I recall correctly, what I told is yeah, uh, Fantastic Four will flop, Superman or Rebirth will most likely underperform, and the other one will most likely succeed and make massive money. And I was really hoping for Superman, and that's my bias because I really like DC. So now we got the numbers, and I will take as source Wikipedia. So we will dive deep into that and reflect back on what we said back in June after the John Wick discussion we had. So let's do this. I will screen share. Share screen. So we start with the first one that came out, being Jurassic World Rebirth. So the budget was between 180 million to 225 million. And let's be honest, just to make the money back, you need at least twice that number. And the reason is they don't really count advertisements in that budget. So if you really look at the earning, the box office, if you really look at it right now, it says 832.6 million. So this means we hit the mark with the twice the number. So that movie is officially a success. And I'm kind of surprised because I will be honest. I like the first four movies, but anything after range from mediocre to terrible. Dominion is terrible. I think it's universally accepted and tolerated that Dominion was really bad. Um, Lucky us, Rebirth was far better than whatever we got with Dominion. So I'm kind of surprised. And Matt was saying, yeah, it's popular in Asia, that kind of movie, and I can tell, I can see. Look at the number. That movie did very well. I wasn't the biggest fan. It's not the worst movie I've seen this year. I've seen 105 movies as of right now that came out in 2025. That one is maybe bottom 20 to bottom 30. It's not the worst thing. I enjoyed it. I think I can I can place that movie as one of these guilty pleasures. Now, now. Let's take a look to the second movie that came out around the same time, being Superman, the James Gunn one. And there's a big discussion to have here, even if I'm alone as of right now. We will have that big discussion as of that moment. So, okay, budget 225 million, box office 598, but that's almost 600. So the movie made its money back, but it enters the underperformed realm. It's not a massive success. It's unfortunate. It's one of my favorite movies this year. Now there's a big discussion about Superman. A lot of people were Man of Steel fans. They hated when Zack Snyder got out of the DCU, and they didn't even want to give a chance to James Gunn. Everything to trash any upcoming project that didn't include Zack Snyder vision. And I had that stream. I talked about Superman and Man of Steel in the same stream. It was for the other show, the film and shows adaptation. I will be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of Man of Steel. I think as a movie, it's a cool sci-fi. It's a good sci-fi, but it is not Superman. And that's the unfortunate part. That movie had a big following, and it's compared a lot to Superman, and they want to dunk on James Gunn saying Man of Steel was more successful. It was a different world 12 years ago. Let's be honest, post-COVID, we had massive hit movies. Deadpool and Wolverine, Barbie, Oppenheimer. All of these movies I just mentioned are the biggest success we had in the last 5 years. Here's the thing. They are once in a full moon, once in a lifetime success. Post QF, post sickness and mental, or I should say, post craziness in the world, that was 2020. People no longer go in theaters, and cost of life got much higher, so they don't have that money anymore. And even the theater experience is very different. So these are factors. We had a global issue that affected everyone in the world. Since then, people are scared to go outside. Let's be honest. Even if it's no longer around, people rather watch their TV and their movies online. And that brings my second point. Digital platform. You know, Superman just came out online after 35 days in theaters. It's way too soon. Why would people spend $20 for the movie, or if they also want snacks and all? Why would they spend like $30 to watch a movie when they can spend $5 to rent a movie online and eat whatever they already have at home? They save a lot more money by staying at home. The other factor why Man of Steel was so much more successful than Superman is Man of Steel didn't add a toxic cult that wanted Man of Steel to fail. Nobody was against Man of Steel. Even the Marvel fanboys back then, they were like, we want cool DC stuff. Really, nobody created a smear campaign against Man of Steel. Well, when we get Superman, we got so many haters that just wanted to hate because it's trending. Even YouTube, the realm of YouTube changed so much. We got a lot of rant that don't make any sense. We get so many people that trash on something just because it's easier in mainstream to be really shitty towards something. The world has changed a lot. The negative is highlighted a lot more. And again, Man of Steel didn't didn't fight off like a cult of crazy people that are stuck in the past. Superman just did. And again, I think art, a lot of art, it's very subjective. You can like Man of Steel more than Superman if you want, but a lot of people, they hate Superman because they think if Superman failed, which it didn't fail, but hey, keep twisting it the way you want. Pretend it failed. Even if it actually failed, Zack Snyder is out. But yeah, these people, they grasp, they stick to the idea that if Superman doesn't succeed, they will bring back Zack Snyder. No, no, it's not happening, folks. Zack Snyder is done with DC. He is out. Maybe they will bring him back for like an Elseworld project because they know they can make money out of it, but his universe failed. I'm sorry to break this down to you, but if Zack Snyder was successful, he would still be in charge. They took him out because we had mixed reviews. A lot of critique, they hated Zack Snyder. A lot of fans followed Zack Snyder, but also a lot of people that are into the comics and that didn't really like what Snyder was giving also didn't like the movies. So again, mixed reviews affected Zack Snyder. And now what affects James Gunn right now is the cultists, the people that don't want to let go, the people that don't want to move on. It's so toxic. Move on, grow up. It's not good for your mental health. I'm sorry, but time change. I'm glad to enjoy James Gunn right now, but I know like if it's not successful in 10 years, we will have another DCU with someone else in charge, or maybe 20 years. Because let's be honest, if James Gunn fails, I think DC will sell off parts. Warner won't be in charge anymore, and that will be a disaster, and nobody will be happy. Anyway, to get back on track, there's another factor there. Man of Steel was alone back then in 2013. And Superman had to compete with Jurassic World Rebirth and Fantastic Four. And for the people that don't have the money to go watch two movies in theater and they are fan of both Marvel and DC, that will cut the people. A lot of people will be like, you know what? Marvel has a better track record. I will give my money to Fantastic Four. So if these two movies didn't came out the same month, both movies would have made more money. That's a factor. And again, Jurassic World was a big, massive hit. I think it's one of the most profitable movie we had in 2025. It's at least top 5 for sure. And you had Superman competing with that. Another factor. And that's the last one. Superhero fatigue. A lot of people, there's that trend online. Lots of people are like, there's too many superhero things. I strongly disagree. But hey, it's me. I'm a big comic book fan. I've read so many comics in the last 9 months, 10 months. So it doesn't affect me. But hey, that's trending. A lot of people resonate with that. So these are the reasons why Superman did the way it did. It underperformed. It didn't flop. Stop spreading misinformation. Now, let's move on to the third movie we had. The third movie we had. Fantastic Four First Steps. I like Fantastic Four First Steps a lot more than Jurassic World Rebirth, but that's unfortunate. Now, here's the thing. It says budget 200 plus million. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's much higher. Because you see, you compare the other page with Superman and even with Jurassic World. Jurassic World, you had like a average approximate. You had like between 180 and like 200 something. This time around, it's 200 plus. So maybe There's a lot more, but because Disney doesn't do very well in recent days, they are scared to share proper numbers, so they give an average, but it won't be as precise as what we had with Jurassic World. But if you really take a look at face value, this is around the same success Superman had. And unfortunately, there are very similar factors I already mentioned with Man of Steel and Superman and whatever. We have three movies that month, and Fantastic Four is the last one. So if people rush into the theater, they already wasted all of their money in the first two movies, and they had no money left for Fantastic Four. The other factor, a big one, it's the third MCU movie this year. People are most likely fed up. The MCU had really bad press. I will be honest, I enjoyed Thunderbolt and Brave New World. And I will also share this. I think there are better movies, and I'm probably in the minority. I'm crazy, I know. I like the other two a lot more, but they didn't do well. And they were not. I think Thunderbolt is the only three movies of the MCU, the only of the only movie among the three MCU release we had this year. I think that's the only one that's globally accepted and respected. I think there was a lot of backlash and unfair treatment for Fantastic Four and Brave New World for very obvious reason. The hentai woke crowd. Brave New World, oh, we don't want a black Captain America, and this time around, we don't want like a Sue being in charge when she was in charge in a lot of the comics. Uh, and I will be honest, some of the dialogue was off-putting in Fantastic Four, but that's just me. I don't know if they said that in that sphere. Anyhow, it was the third MCU movie this year. People are oversaturated. They get to experience way too many MCU movies. They just don't have the money to follow everything. And again, theater experience costs so much more than it used to be. And we got too many movies. I think if they at least waited until like September or October when there's less movies, maybe, just maybe, Fantastic Four would have done better. Or L, release it in January or February next year. Why rushing into that? You already had Thunderbolt and you Brave New World going out. It was a big mistake. Now the verdict. The verdict. I was wrong. We had one success, and that's not a massive success, but it's still successful, let's be honest. Jurassic World, as much as I'm not a biggest fan, it did well. It did 4 times its budget, so it most likely paid itself back and did some earnings. So that franchise is good to go for a 8th installment eventually. Probably 3 years, 4 years from now, we will get another one. Superman and Fantastic Four both underperformed. To all of these people that spread misinformation, it wasn't a bomb. Neither of these two were a bomb, except if Fantastic Four budget was more like 300 million instead of 200 million, but we will pretend it's very close to the 200 million. If it's really close to 200 million, then Fantastic Four, it did underperform, it didn't bomb. But if Fantastic Four, they eyed well the number and it's indeed like 300 million instead of 200 million, they are big liars. That's disgusting. And it is indeed a bomb. But again, what's been reported is 300 million, so 200 million, sorry, 200 million. So because it's been reported it's 200 million, Fantastic Four underperformed. It did just fine. And the same goes for Superman. I think DC future is much brighter than Marvel. Marvel, they have been spinning their wheels for 20 years. They release way too many projects. and that will harm Marvel. Let's be honest. Marvel fatigue is a real thing. People don't have the money to go watch like three movies in theaters and like two TV shows because this year we had three actually. I missed Spider-Man, but we had like Spider-Man in January. We had Daredevil Born Again in March, and we had Iron Heart. It's too many things. Slow down. Do more quality check. I like a lot of Marvel stuff, but I'm in the minority and I know that. And DC, on the other end, the future is bright because I think James Gunn understand the reason why Marvel is falling is because they do too many things. How many things DC we got this year? We got Superman and Peacemaker. At the end of last year, we had Creature Commando. Next year, I think we have Green Lanterns and Supergirl. There's also a Clayface thing eventually, but they're still very spread out. So even if they release Clayface next year, I think it's fine because like there's at least 3 to 4 months gap between each, so that's fine. Because I think Lanterns is most likely something that's in the winter or at some point in the spring, while Supergirl is the summer it they want. Um, I think Supergirl will do very well. Um, I'm excited about Supergirl, to be honest. That will be great. Now, Clayface, I have no clue. I don't know. But you see, that's a big difference. Marvel just had like 6 projects in 2025. It's way too many. I watched a lot of stuff and I didn't have time to watch Spider-Man and I had no interest whatsoever. I I'm just a bit fed up with Marvel. I like Marvel, but like I want diversity. I want to watch different things. I don't want to stick to one thing. So I mean like all of these things. I'm staying away from Iron Heart. I will watch, but I'm in no rush. And this is also what happens when you just have so many new things coming out. Not everyone will watch everything. And I'm a cinephile. I watch a lot more things than a lot of other people that are more casuals. And I didn't watch everything Marvel. So outside of your core fan base that are hardcore fan, nobody will have the time for every Marvel that they put out. That's a big thing. And again, it's been almost 20 years. They started this in 2008. It's about time they reboot. It's about time they start fresh. They have almost every IP. So again, I highly recommend Marvel and the studio to reboot the entire thing after Secret Wars. Do something new. Finish off that 20 plus year story with Secret Wars. You need that. We need something new. And I feel like it's not new anymore when it's Marvel. Even if we get new movies, it's the same universe and it's the same formula and it's the same people in charge. Now, I think that was a very interesting start. And and it's time we officially start the tier list. The tier list. The tier list. There we go. Tier list. Now I will mark down the timestamp. So the tier list. There's like 100-ish movies. I won't cover each single one of them. But I think it's relevant and interesting if we cover the bottom ones. And I will not necessarily do a full review, but I will do limited coverage of these. Okay. I don't want ads. It's so annoying. And they stop me from using tier list maker if I have the ad block on. So I think I will zoom in even more. Maybe a bit less. That's an OV to remain YouTube friendly. These ads are so annoying. So okay, this season in mainstream movie reviews, we covered Mission Impossible, we covered Jurassic Park, we covered the Final Destination franchise. And I've seen a lot of 2025 movies, so I just mashed them together. So Popeye's Revenge, I will be doing a full review of that crap alongside uh, Streamboat, and Popeye's Revenge. I'll do full reviews for these two terrible movies. But that's one of the worst thing I've seen, and I think it's on purpose. These movies are made to be bad, and they're just stupid slasher. Um, yeah, that's why it's last. It's a bad movie. It's made to be bad, but it's bad. It's bad. Now, Mission Impossible 2. I have fond memories of hating that movie. If you've seen it, you know what I mean. Slow mo, slow mo, slow mo. Wedding banquet or something. It's a remake because I think there was a movie in the 80s or 90s. I can't remember when. That remake is unbearable. I suffered through it, and I was like, you know what? That's a good candidate for one of the worst movie this year. And Alexander Adventure as well. And it's then followed by, surprise, surprise, we mentioned it, Jurassic World Dominion, the terrible movie. Now it's also followed by the second Final Destination. As much as we have iconic scene, I don't think it's a great movie. And unfortunately, Bloodline, it's one of these guilty pleasure. I had fun watching it, but I think it's a terrible movie. It was fun, it was enjoyable, but it was bad. I'm sorry, but it was bad. Now the next stop is the fifth Jurassic Park, Fallen Kingdom or some crap like that. Not great. Now it's followed by Final Destination 2009. That's the fourth one, I believe, with the car crash, the speeding road. There was a race. It was full chaos. Yeah. We also had the Minecraft movie. Minecraft movie was one of the worst thing we had this year in my books. It's an easy worst 20. Now, I realize we get through these movies really fast, so I will actually cover the E rank as well. The E rank is a bit unfortunate with In the Lost Land. That's a guilty pleasure. I enjoyed watching that movie, but it's not that great. We also have the Karate Kid from 2010. Not a big fan. The Uninvited, one of these thousand of freaking Pedro Pascal movie. I'm so tired of this crap. Electric State. Millie Bobby Brown is not a good actress. Stop casting in her in everything. Netflix. That's also a Netflix movie. That's bad. Ballerina. It's one of these worst movie this year that I enjoyed. And it's followed by Jurassic World Rebirth, a movie we mentioned earlier in this stream. McVeigh. It's a 2025 movie. I was like, you know what? I had apathy toward most of it. The same goes for Parenting and Baby Invasion. And we had a fifth Final Destination that was quite enjoyable. And I think that sums up very well the two worst tiers of that tier list. So let's go all the way up with the S tier, the build out. Even if it's marked down as a 2023 movie, it came out this year. It was a psychological horror drama that was kind of fun and entertaining about a lonely person in the desert that's driven nuts. We had the actor, someone that has amnesia, or did he? That was a fun flick. Unstoppable was a sports drama. Rule Breaker made me look on a very different lens the Muslim community. Rule Breaker, it's a strong feminist movie I enjoyed a lot, and I'd recommend everyone for watching. Um, Now, the next up would be the second Jurassic Park movie. I think it was in 1997. That was quite fun. We also have the remake Locked from 2025. Someone in the car, he's trapped there, and the bad guy play with him, and he has fun torturing him mentally and also physically because he keeps him barely alive. That was a fun experience. Brave the Dark, that was some kind of biopic that was interesting. We also had the first Jurassic Park. And now the next stop is Elizabeth Olsen in The Assessment. How an authoritarian regime decides who can have kids and who can't. And the message is not everyone is born parents, you become one. Therefore, the state having their word on it, it's not moral, it's not really good, it's actually a terrible idea. I like The Assessment. I talk about it right now. I want to watch it again. It's not either because I feel like other movie were just more enjoyable for me, and Warfare is the perfect example. I enjoyed that a lot. It felt like a mission. You're there with the crew, and the mission goes crazy. It's in Iraq or Afghanistan. I can't remember when, but everything blows up. People die. They try rescue. They fail. It's such a great movie. It felt like a better version of Civil War, another movie made by A24 last year. Now we have Val and Miserable. And it's surprising because this is a movie from Quebec, where I am. And I think most of the movies made here in Quebec, they suck. I'm not the target audience. I hate them. They are bad. But this one is a gem. This one, I recommend it. Go watch it. Now, the next stop. Sorry about that. The next stop is Control Freak. For quite some time, it was on Disney Plus. Yes, I do have Disney Plus, folks. Enjoyable drama about mental illness and being crazy. Next up is Black Bag, a very enjoyable spy thriller that doesn't really feel like the other spy thriller we have usually. It's not action driven, it's character driven, it's drama driven. It's a bunch of liars telling lies and working in that industry full of lies. That's just a fun experience. The humor was on point. The next stop is Odessa. I'm not the biggest fan of musical, but here we are with a musical that was very good, and the power of love is cringy and terrible, but that movie actually made it work, and I was impressed and baffled by how effective they were with love rules everything. Love is what should be. Love is what makes you break away from the matrix. Odyssey is underrated, and that one was also on Disney Plus. Disney Plus actually has a good library when it's not Disney or Marvel, which is funny. Now, the next up, Winter, Spring, Summer, Fall. That one is special. Not the biggest fan of rom-com, but this is one of my favorites. And one can say I am biased. When Jenna Ortega is in something, I like that product. So I'm just biased. Enjoyable. Full. It was a fun thing to witness, to watch for a first time. I enjoyed it. Opus. We did a full review on the channel. I like that thing a lot. More than The Lord. It gives Blink Twice vibe, but it's also different. We got in fifth place. Earth Eyes. Earth Eyes. That was a very funny slasher, thriller, comedy, shenanigan. It was enjoyable. Just watch it if it's not done yet. They poke fun at many tropes in the slasher type movies. And among the slashers, it's probably my favorite. I don't think of any movie that come close to it. Sorry, I don't. In fourth place, Bob Trivino likes it. I will be honest, that movie made me tear. I had tear. I had tears. I had tears. I cried watching this movie. At the very end, the ending is so sad. I felt so many things for the cast and characters. It was a drama about loneliness and how to fight it and how to have genuine friendship. That's a fun experience. And based on what I know, it's inspired heavily on real life people, and that's enjoyable. Maybe that's why I had tears in my eyes, because I could relate so much to a lot of aspect of that story. Now, in third place, we got Nobody 2. Nobody. I really like the first Nobody. We talked about it Tuesday. I really like the first Nobody, but the second one, I adore it. The perfect action flick. Go watch it if it's not done yet. In second place, Superman. I adore this thing. You know my opinion. Go watch the film and shows adaptation. Now, hurry up tomorrow. I'm the only one on earth that liked it. Everyone hates it. That's my go-to. That's a great drama I liked. It's a great musical I liked. I think the actors were solid, and Jenna Ortega is in it. I see two Jenna Ortega movies in that top 10. Very interesting. Now, it's very hot here, and I will say this. This was the tier list. The tier list. So I will just reduce the zoom so everyone can see the entire thing. If you want movie suggestion, here we are. So we in A plus we got The Accountant 2, we got The New Karate Kid, Death of a Unicorn, Riff Raff, Old Guy, Borderline, Honeymoon Crashers, Sinners, um, The Lost World. That was like the fourth Jurassic Park. Oh no, that was the second one. The Lost World. Yeah, that was the second one. But this is the full tier list there. A lot of movies. 103 movies. And I like most of these. I think my least favorite ones are probably the top, or I should say the bottom 20. The bottom 20 are the worst movies in that list for me. Now, this shall mark the end of this tier list. We will have a quick outro there to tease season 3 of Mainstream Movie Reviews. That will go by fast because I want to end season 3 by the end of 2025, because 2026 we will have a new format. That being said, a lot of streams. The next one will most likely be Honey Don't, or Don't Honey. I can't remember the exact name. It's a lesbian road trip, my guess. It's the same person that made Drive Away Doll. I didn't like Drive Away Doll, but I'm excited to see Margaret Qualley in it. She's a great actress, so take it the way you want. With that being said, this was the end of the second season of Mainstream Movie Reviews. Thank you for watching, and we are out.